This is my review of Sonic X. Okay, so in this episode, it starts off with all of the characters that we met up to this point celebrating the new year. Namely, Chris, Sonic, and all of his friends are on the Thorndike yacht, and they're there to celebrate with noisemakers. Although Cream posits with her childlike innocence that if they make too much noise, they might scare the sun away. But her mom assures her that's not going to happen. Although I'll get to that in a minute. As everybody is celebrating, they're basically what they're doing is they're going to celebrate the new year by watching the sunrise, which is an interesting way to celebrate the new year, basically. Although Sonic is off by himself and he's deep in thought, for reasons that are quickly revealed, or at least somewhat. However, as the sun begins to rise, something interesting happens. The Eggman moves in front of the sun, creating a solar eclipse. Specifically a total eclipse, which more or less blocks out the entire sun. And naturally this gets the attention of the government, who have no idea what's going on, especially since there's not supposed to be a solar eclipse, and the fact that there is kind of throwing them for a bit of a loop. And they quickly realize that Eggman is also most likely behind it, so they call him in, and only to realize that he's already in the White House already, and was on his way to meet the president on his own. So there really wasn't much else beyond that. But in case Eggman posits that he wasn't the one who actually pushed the moon in front of the sun and caused the eclipse, even though it's implied in this episode that is what he did. But it's implied through some of his dialogue later that's what he did, but I'll get to that in a minute. But in case he explains that to the president that he had nothing to do with it, that it was a solar flare that caused the eclipse, and that he will try and fix the moon's orbit as soon as possible. But in the meantime, posits that they work together to think of a solution. And indeed, they do just that, and Eggman, using government facilities, it actually posits his plan to actually help more or less try and return the sunlight to people. And what he does is he launches a satellite into orbit, which collects the sunlight from the sun while getting around the egg moon, and then beams it back to Earth and uses special satellite dishes called sunshine towers, or as they're called, to collect the sunlight, which is later revealed on the news later that day, several days later, to actually be used to collect energy for a new invention Eggman invented called the Sunshine Ball, which is designed to be installed on the roof of a building, and then it creates artificial sunlight from there. And Sonic is a little upset by this and leaves once he sees Dr. Eggman on TV, and he just leaves. And none of his friends are really sure what to make of it, pointing out that it's entirely possible that Sonic is upset by the fact that Dr. Eggman may be trying to help, but also Sonic doesn't trust Eggman very much, and also there's the fact that Dr. Eggman doesn't really have the best track record, so his skepticism is well justified. But in any case, they begin installing the little sunshine balls, as they're called, on people's roofs, starting with Helen's family. If you remember, Helen is the little girl in the wheelchair that Chris may or may not have a crush on. But basically they start installing sunshine balls on the roof of everyone's house, and basically what it does is it's designed to mimic the effects of sunlight so that people can actually see in the dark, and also help plants grow and stuff like that. However, it's not being installed. It hasn't been installed on every roof yet, and an angry mob, led by Jerome Wise, the president's former aide, he gathers an angry mob, and they go to complain, pointing out that they need sunshine balls yesterday. Basically, they need sunshine balls because they kind of live in the slums where there isn't much places where they can actually get sunlight, and it's pretty much it's the only way they're going to be able to get artificial sunlight, because they don't have houses, is to just build them out in the open. As it turns out, a giant UN assembly is assembled to basically discuss the prospect of the sunshine balls and how they should go about installing them. And Dr. Eggman quickly realizes that because demand is through the roof, he realizes he needs a second satellite dish and more sunshine towers to build, so that he can actually beam the sunlight into more places, so that way he can create more sunshine balls, and also then distribute those sunshine balls across the people to be able to do that. And to that end, he calls up the president and tells him that he needs more government land to build sunshine towers and launch more satellites into space. And the president just gives it to him, saying that he has no problem doing it, and that he's actually a hero, which shocks Eggman a little bit. And this is where I was talking about earlier. He says that being a hero, having a squeaky clean image, might actually help him with his doing some dirty work on the side. So it's implied. It's implied that Dr. Eggman is responsible for the egg moon being moved in front of the sun. But as a man of his word, he puts up more sunshine towers, collects more sunlight, and uses them to distribute more sunshine balls across the planet, which help greatly. And the homeless people now have a place where they can actually gaze and bask in the sunlight, because they don't have houses, so they're just out and about in the world now. So that's pretty helpful. But Sonic, and I've already discussed this. Sonic doesn't really trust Dr. Eggman and suspects that he's up to something, and notices that, and is pretty sure that this is a part of a scheme by Dr. Eggman, and realizes that Dr. Eggman most likely hasn't turned a new leaf, and with that, smashes several sunshine towers, which causes a global-wide blackout of all the sunshine balls that have been installed. And Dr. Eggman and everybody else are understandably confused, because the sunshine balls just kind of went out without any prior warning, and they quickly realize something is wrong. And Dr. Eggman quickly makes a press conference about it, stating that he has no idea what caused the blackout, but he's going to do his best to restore them and bring the power back sooner rather than later. And eventually it does get back to the president, and they do eventually realize what actually caused the blackout, and they eventually realize that Sonic was behind it. And everybody and the president and every member of his staff is understandably confused, because Sonic isn't the kind of guy to do this kind of thing. He isn't the kind of guy. It's completely out of character. It doesn't make sense for him to suddenly just turn evil, just turn bad out of the blue and start smashing things without any prior warning. At which point, Rouge actually posits a theory that Sonic and Eggman have always been at odds. They've always hated each other, and posits that since Dr. Eggman is a good guy now, that makes Sonic has to play the role of villain now. Basically, he's jealous of Dr. Eggman being a hero and wants to put a stop to him. Which may or may not be true, but that's what Rouge posits as her theory. And then the president discusses with the staff about what they should do, and they eventually decide to leak the information to the media so that they can actually inform the public and let them know what's going on. And sure enough, Sofia Garcia makes an announcement on the news station later that day about how Sonic is the one responsible for the global-wide blackouts. And everybody is understandably confused, mainly Sonic's friends, since they know Sonic isn't the kind of guy to do this, and posits that maybe it has something to do with Eggman. And Sonic is pretty sure, and Chris is pretty sure that it's something to do with Eggman, and that Sonic most likely has a good reason, but they don't really have time to discuss it any further, because right at that moment, Jerome Wise and his angry mob show up and try to and successfully break down the gate into the Nornegg mansion looking for Sonic. And Chris and his family try to defuse the situation to no avail. But in any case, the president has also set up several blockades around the remaining sunshine towers to protect them from Sonic, which don't work because it's Sonic. But basically they set up a bunch of police blockades, and the police understandably panic because they see Sonic coming, and they don't know what to do because they're not fast enough to keep up with him, and he winds up destroying the sunshine towers despite their best efforts. And one of the the police officers even points out that his kids are a fan of Sonic, and he doesn't have the heart to tell them that Sonic's a bad guy now. So he's a little conflicted about what to do. But in any case, Dr. Eggman quickly finds out that Sonic is playing the villain again, and realizes that he's probably going to have to do something and step in to stop Sonic. At which point, Dingo and Boko posit that they actually changed the name of the show to Eggman X, which is a really funny fourth wall gag. And Dr. Eggman gives a final speech about how they're finally going to give Sonic his just desserts for basically becoming a villain now. So yeah, there's a bit of an unpack in this episode, namely that it seems like it's implied that Dr. Eggman was responsible for the eclipse, even though he said he wasn't. So it's implied that the eclipse was indeed Eggman's doing, but he's pretending to be a charitable soul, so that way he can basically set up as many sunshine. So basically his plan is to cause the solar eclipse and then sell the sunlight back to the people, and while he figures out a solution to the eclipse. Even though he caused the eclipse, and it's heavily implied that he caused the eclipse. So yeah, and Sonic is pretty sure that he knows that Eggman caused the eclipse. He's fairly confident that Eggman caused the eclipse and is trying to do something about it. And now the roles have kind of reversed. Dr. Eggman, because he blocked out the sun and is now selling it behind a paywall, he's being regarded as a hero for basically returning the sunlight to people, even though he's the one who caused it in the first place. And also Sonic is now being billed as a villain because he's trying to stop Dr. Eggman's evil plan, but nobody knows that Dr. Eggman has an evil plan. So therefore the rules have reversed, and Sonic is being portrayed as a bad guy now. And that's gonna be interesting. Sonic now is basically against the law again. It seems like a running theme as of late, but basically Sonic is trying to stop Dr. Eggman as per usual, but because Dr. Eggman has the government on his side this time around, Sonic is now the villain. So it's gonna be interesting. But in any case, that's my review of Sonic X. What did you guys think? Let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below, or over on my Discord server, link in the description. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook and on Twitter in the description below. And also, be sure to check out my Patreon in the description below as well. It's only a couple bucks a month. It really helps me out, and you guys get access to a bunch of cool perks, and I'm always saying thanks. So be sure to check those out in the description below as well. But in any case, thank you guys so much for watching. And also next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!